Twitter, but I'm going to put it on my own too.
Great. I'll just retweet you.
All right, we are officially live. We'll let the audience build up.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Let's see. I'm going to retweet the DAE.
All righty.
Let's make sure we can hear the sound too.
Boom, boom, boom.
Retweet the DAE. Yep.
Sounding good.
All right, I just retweeted DAE. We got people are coming in on the stream. It is Nick Wize, Rock Riley. We are in Radio Row, as we like to call it. And I got to be honest, I'm in some pain today. You're
in some pain. Now, listen, you're not on the DAE. You haven't pulled a hamstring. You don't have an ACL. You're hurting. How so? All
right. So everybody said that I had to go to Cafe Du Monde. And so I went today. I had a beignet. And that's not why I'm hurting, though. Why I'm hurting is I ordered. So it's kind of my fault, more so than the guy, more than the waiter's fault. But I ordered, a coffee and a beignet because I wanted to try them. First off, way too much white sugar. Like it's just
sure. It is sugar.
I tried to get as much off of it as I could, but still wanted to try it because everyone says you have to have one of those when you're in New Orleans. So I did it. I can say I did it, and I'll probably never do it again.
Was there a line? By the way, I didn't go.
No, it was wide open this morning. There was it was wide open. So there was no line or anything like that. Wide open.
I'm surprised people stayed up last night.
And so I ordered a coffee and a beignet, and it comes out. And so the guy, he says, "You want a nice coffee?" And I'm like, "Nah, just a regular coffee." And I started to think about it. I'm like, you know what? I got a little bit of a walk. I'm like, I'll take the iced coffee. And so he comes to the table. He drops off the beignet and what I think is the iced coffee. And he gives me a cup, and he gives me the straw. So I stick the straw in the coffee, and I go to pick it up, and it's a styrofoam glass or a styrofoam cup, so you couldn't necessarily feel the temperature of it. And I drank it as if it was iced coffee.
Right.
And I took the biggest slurp from the straw, and it was piping hot, boiling coffee. And the roof of my mouth right now is
that sucks.
Just peeling because
I
it
feel
burned
for you.
so bad. It hurt so bad. So that's how I started my day.
And you will have that feeling for days.
Yeah, that hurt.
Was it expensive? What was it about? What you would pay, or is it more? Was it pretty expensive, Nick?
No, it was. I think you get 3 beignets and a cup of coffee. It was like $11.
That's not bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
That's
and
not bad.
Cash only.
Still.
So they're not probably paying taxes, allegedly. I don't know that. But, when places only take cash, that's usually what I think.
Funny.
But, yeah, it was good. I probably wouldn't have those again. Last night I had I went to Galatori's, I think it's called. No, that was a good restaurant. All the food's just been phenomenal.
You and T. Kraz, or you by yourself?
No, it was me and T. Kraz. We went.
What'd you guys get?
And he got a steak.
Oof.
And I went with what is that dish? It's almost like a soup, and it has all of the different. It starts with a B. Bolognese.
Oh yeah. Bolognese.
Yeah, you're close.
Yeah, there you go.
Whenever I get it, I just point at the menu. I go, I want this. So I got that last night. That was really good. Like I said, all the food here is it's been phenomenal, except for Radio Row. The NFL's just like, you're on your own. And, they had some breakfast this morning. It's usually like muffins, but for lunch, they don't really serve anything. Oh, today they had French toast sticks.
Yeah, I did have that.
Reminded me of my childhood. That was the last time I had those.
So funny.
But then I went up there yesterday. They ran out of soft pretzels, so they had nothing else.
The Eagles
and I'm like,
soft pretzel thing.
I was starving. So we got to dinner. I ate a lot, but
you're getting your steps in. I don't do any cardio. Like I go to Anytime Fitness and I hit the weight just a little bit. Just want to stay healthy, but I don't do cardio. My legs are sore. I've been doing so much walking, and I've been walking a couple of times because, I don't have an expense account. This is me. So I've been walking 2 times I've taken an Uber, but I've been walking, boom, 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 and here, boom, 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 boom. It's actually good. So we're getting our steps in, and this convention center is so big, and the only way to get guests is you got to walk. You got to go. T-Crash, you got to walk around, man. That is the only way to do it. And so we're getting our steps in. So look at it like that. So if you ate a lot last night, that's okay. But it's a lot. It's big, and there's a lot of walking, Nick.
Yeah, I'm showing the listeners right now on the camera just kind of what it looks like, a little bit of a glimpse. I mean, even the camera doesn't really do its justice.
It's only like a quarter of it. Yeah,
but it is absolutely massive. To our right is the Pat McAfee set, which every single media member seems to hover around. I mean, Pat's the god out here.
You put it great the other day, and I was telling my wife last night, and I confirmed it. McAfee's set is so good. They even have a steel beam. It mimics like Indiana, in that where they play in Indiana, where they have the combine and all that jazz. Their flooring, everything. They have its staff 24/7 with a security guard, with a rope. I've never seen this for any other set because they don't want every member media would go up and sit on the set and take a photo. So how about that? Nobody has that because he is the man. When you're the man, it was like for years. I grew up in Jersey, like Howard Stern. He could say what he wanted about management because you know what? He was bringing in ratings. He was bringing in revenue. Joe Rogan spotted, and McAfee is it. He called out ESPN heads, and it's like, oh my God, is he getting fired? Did he get fired? No. And he's bringing it in, and he's got the nicest set and the most amount of people working for him. But he also, behind the scenes, Nick, people were telling me, like, he honestly, whether you like him or don't, or you think he's overexposed, he honestly is a good guy. And when he got his big deal prior to the ESPN, he had another big one. I forget, was it FanDuel? One of the betting sites. And he gave each one of his guys, I think it was around like $60,000.
Yeah, like Jeff Vinnick. He did the whole Jeff Vinnick thing.
From the Lightning. If you don't know, he gave every full-time employee, everyone in that building.
Does that include the concession stands, all of that?
No, you got to be full-time. You have to be full-time, but still full-time. A year's salary. Full-time. What boss does that? And I talked to some of the people, they paid off their mortgage, or they had 2 car payments, and they did this, and it just changed their whole year. So that is really nice, man, if you can work for somebody like that.
I could absolutely.
Could you handle that? Tell your wife you're getting a full year's salary and what you want to do?
I could definitely use that dough right now. I'm still waiting on that damn permit. I think we were talking about that yesterday. Yes. I'm just going to tweet Mayor Ken Welch now that he's done with the Rays. I just been tweeting at him hey, Mayor, since you're done with the Rays, can we approve our permits? And Joe Burrow is right behind you. I'm putting the camera on you right now. Joe Burrow, that's him right there.
Joe's the guy.
In the white T-shirt.
Big Joe.
Joe Burrow. I heard him on Dan Patrick earlier today. He just was on Kay Adams' show over there a moment ago. So if you look, see if I can get the camera. If you see the FanDuel sign there.
That's her set.
That is where Kay Adams is. And then there's one other host that I saw there yesterday too. Not sure who it, blonde girl.
Yes, I forget her name, but yes,
Lisa.
They used to share. So when I was 2 or 3 years ago, before it was ESPN, McAfee and FanDuel, that was the same sponsor. And you know what they would do, Nick? They would have 30 guys, and they would change the entire set from McAfee's show to the Kay Adams show. And I'm like, look at this, look at him. And then when I started going around, I noticed the ones that have the gambling sponsorship in the sites, they have the most money. They have the most money?
Yeah, because we all lose. I'm paying for that set. Yeah, no, the ones with the gambling accounts, you're right. They do have the biggest monies.
Yes, they do.
You can do whatever you want with that money. So, all right, I put out a couple. Let's talk about the Bucks here.
Let's do it.
Myles Garrett was the big news earlier this week. So I put out a post on social media that it was on Twitter that a lot of people. Is that Lawrence Taylor?
Yeah, LT. He's done all the shows. He's great. He's still got the dangling earring. Nick, that's when I first started covering pro football. I was 25 years old. I had gone from high school to pro. I'm in the New Jersey area. I go into the Giants locker room. Phil Simms is the quarterback. LT LT was a beast. He was also doing coke and stuff at the time. He was a wild man. And I go in the locker room. I'm like 25 years old. I'm in a pro locker room. And he says, ball boy, I want my towels. I want this. I want everything right here. And then he and Sims go to here. Oh, they even have separate lockers in the back. I'm like, oh, so this is the pros, the NFL. And I was at a bar in New Jersey when they were having training camp. LT walks in. It's packed. A guy comes over to LT and says, LT, can you sign this? He gives him a napkin. LT put F you. And I mean, no, because he was a wild man, but he was such a beast on the field. One of the all-time greats.
If he would have went to Cafe Du Monde, those beignets would have reminded him of his past time.
I'm just saying,
because that's what it looked like when it was on the table, just a bunch of white powder. But he also has one of the best movie quotes of all time: "Don't smoke crack." What is in what is it? Well, Happy Gilmore, the football water boy.
Yes.
This brings me to my next point, kids. Don't smoke crack. By the way, if you're watching the show on YouTube, it's Nick Wize and Rock Riley. There will be a lot of times where we start a conversation and then we get completely sidetracked. The way
I
used
go
it,
like this.
yes.
Or I go like
the
this,
analogy
so
I used. Yeah, Rock will move back and forth. Those were big names will kind of come through. I used the analogy yesterday that we're like dogs and the tennis balls are just being thrown everywhere, and trying to hold your attention is difficult. But Myles Garrett and the Bucs. I put out a couple mock trades out on social media. One of them took off. I put off another one this morning. Myles Garrett, 2 first-round picks. All right, before we get into would you do it, is 2 first-round picks even enough for Myles Garrett, or are the Browns going to want more?
They'll probably. Oh, you know what the problem is? When you have so much competition, so many teams are so desperate, you might even need more. But for the sake of things, let's say 2 first-rounders would get it done. I'm all in on that.
Yeah.
I would not. It has to be special. But for the Buccaneer needs, I would do it.
Well, especially when
the offense isn't going to go down, Nick. It's not. It's not. It's there. It's there. It is a thing of beauty. I'm talking to so many people, and they are all now. Everybody loves Baker Mayfield. Everybody said they believed that was the right thing. Chris Sims is like, I said, well, I knew. Everybody knew that Baker Mayfield was going to be the star. Now
I disagree with everybody knowing that. They're all claiming that. But if you remember training camp, it was nothing but Kyle Trask is making a run for his money.
The Gator fans. No, the Gator fans.
Yeah, no. But it wasn't just Gator fans. It was hosts on our station too were kind of buying into the hype, and everybody was going all in on the Kyle Trask thing. And I just kept saying, they're wearing shorts. We're talking about practice. They don't even have pads on.
I'm glad you said that.
Kyle is being conservative. Baker realizes Kyle was conservative at training camp that year, trying to just put out the best stuff, where Baker was taking risks at practice, and that's why he was throwing all the. Remember, we were counting it, and I wasn't, but remember the media in Tampa Bay was counting interceptions, and you'd see Baker had 3 more today. Kyle Trask didn't have it. It's like, I thought the Tampa Bay media lost their minds during that time, covering the Kyle Trask, Baker Mayfield stuff.
Here's a great story on that. So I love this. I just got to bring this up when you're on this. So Bruce Arians at that time had his tournament to benefit his foundation at Innisbrook and Palm Harbor. And a lot of big names are there. Bruce Arians is well-liked. I was there for the dinner, but also the next day, and they're going to play. And Tom Moore is the 85-year-old consultant, offensive consultant, and he was going out, and somebody said, Bruce said, who are you playing in? Who's foursome? Oh, you're in Tom's? Oh, you're going to have fun today. I'm like, Tom Moore's 85 years old, really? So all of a sudden, here comes Baker Mayfield. He had just gotten here. It was during the competition. He comes in. He's got his shorts on. He had just got here. And now Kyle Trask drives in separately. And then they have golf carts when they're going to go out to the first tee. Baker's in his. Kyle Trask is right behind his to go out to play. And I said to Kyle, are you paired up with Baker? And he doesn't say much. He goes, no. No, like we're in competition, even though they say we're pulling for one another and all that. Deep down, come on, human nature, like, I gotta beat him. And I just thought that was so funny at that time. Imagine going out and it's for charity and you gotta be nice. And here's Baker and Kyle and they're driving out together. Separate golf carts.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're in competition with anyone, even like at a radio station, right? Like you want to have better ratings than the shows that are on before and after you. At the end of the day, you want all the shows on your radio station to have high ratings. But, if one show's doing really good and one's doing really bad, you want to catch up to that show that's doing really good, and you compete against each other. We still like each other, and then you respect one another. But, your competition, you're not going to be – I think the radio analogy is probably a bad one because it's a little bit different. But when it comes to backup and starting quarterback, you're not going to be buddy with the guy. You're competing against him. He's trying to take your job, and you're trying to take his, and that's just kind of the name of the game. So I don't expect them to be buddies.
So here's another one. When it was time to clean out the lockers on Monday after the loss to the Commanders, so we get in there. Normally, back in the day, they have the big trash bags, and every player's putting their stuff in their trash bag. Levante David, he still had the big trash bag. He was putting stuff in his, but nobody else was. And I said to Nelson, the last day, the clean out, and he goes, no, it's different now. They have guys to do this. The one locker on Monday morning when we got over there, it was totally cleaned out. Kyle Trask.
Really?
He totally cleaned out his locker. Now, that's not to say that Trask won't be back, but if you're Kyle Trask, would you keep your stuff in your locker, or would you think, I don't know? But that's a little something.
I think by now he probably thought he'd be starting. But so Myles Garrett, two first ones, we're all in on that. That not only helps your defensive line, which has been a weakness of this team, that helps your secondary, which we expect to be a weakness next year unless some moves are made, which – hey, Carlton Davis is out there if you want to pay him. And what a win would that be if you were able to bring him back? And, him getting hurt at the end of the year last year broke his jaw. Maybe that brings the price tag down a little bit. What a win, though, if you could get the third-round pick from Detroit, which you did, and then get him back. Maybe they invest a little bit in Carlton Davis. But Myles Garrett, obviously, look, the chances of Myles Garrett happening they're slim.
And the money, too.
But we can all dream about it. But 2 first rounds you're all in on. So I put out a new one today. Because I don't know if 2 first rounds are enough.
No, it might not be.
What if the Browns said, all right, 2 first rounds? Who is that behind you? That is a massive man.
He's a big dude and sunglasses inside, and I'm not going to say anything to him.
It says team, his jacket says Team Tyson University.
You know what's a good saying? You just go, what's up, brother? What's up, brother?
I know that's the easiest way to do it. I just can't.
Yeah, there's some massive human beings.
So I put it out today. Myles Garrett, 2 first round picks, and then what if the Browns say, I tell you what, the 2 first round picks, we like that. I still need a little bit more.
Which they will.
What if the Browns are like, Nick Chubb's got 1 leg, Ford is okay, send us Rachaad White. You interested in that one?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes. I know that's not popular, but yes.
I don't know. In Tampa Bay, I feel like we've kind of turned our backs on Rachaad White a little bit. We kind of feel that, Bucky Irving should get more. Why? It's really driving me nuts. I don't know what that is. But we're all thinking, that Bucky Irving is the guy. Everybody wants Bucky to get more care.
He is
carries.
the guy.
He is the guy. But
you still need a second back.
Everybody
doesn't have to be.
You need a second back unless you are the Eagles with Saquon Barkley. Other than the Eagles, every team has a second back. Another good team in the NFC, the Detroit Lions. They've got 2 good backs, right? They don't do it with just one guy. Speaking of Detroit Lions running backs, you heard the story yesterday about me, David Montgomery. I tell you about that. Did you hear that story?
I heard a lot of stories. Refresh my memory, and please tell our viewers.
Yeah, so I saw David Montgomery.
Oh, yes,
running around
please,
here.
This is going.
And I said, "What's up to him?" And but it was only quick. I didn't get to really talk to him. But then there was a moment where I saw him, and I'm like, "Oh, I got an opportunity to talk to David Montgomery. Let's go say what's up." I start talking to this dude, and about 5 seconds in after I tell him, "Hey, what's up, David?" And he goes, "Who do you think I am?" And I obviously realize, I'm like, "Oh my God, you're not David Montgomery. He's just like some podcast."
Oh, at least he wasn't another athlete, because that would be very embarrassing.
Yeah, that would have been mean.
That's worse.
So I was like, all right, my bad. To my defense, he looked just like David Montgomery, and they were wearing the same exact hat. So,
it can happen.
So it completely happened. And what I've also learned being in here too is There's a lot of people that you see and you're like, why? What I was just doing a minute ago, you're like, who is that? I've seen him 100 times. And sometimes you just, in the moment, you're not exactly sure who it is.
Yeah.
But Myles Garrett, Rachaad White, 2 first-round picks. I'm all in on whatever it takes to get him here.
I would like to see a little more Sean Tucker. I'm not saying that he is the next coming. He's not a Gibbs. He's not David Montgomery. But he was the offensive player of the week in one game. And I remember talking to him in the locker room, and he's like, he had a real serious situation. And that's why he wasn't being used. And once he got healthy, but there's only one football. It's hard to get 3 running backs the ball. So he wasn't getting any, and Rachaad White is pretty good at pass blocking. He's good out of the backfield catching. I think he's a better receiver, honestly, than he is almost a running back. So there's Sean Tucker, and you can find somebody else and feed Bucky if that's what it would take to get Myles Garrett. I would say yes to that. And the good thing is about the whole money situation is Mike Greenberg, who is their capologist and more than their capologist. I don't know if you followed that yesterday, but he decided to not take the interview to go to Jacksonville to be the general manager, and having Mike Greenberg with the numbers along with Jason Light is huge. Because that's a big part of it, Nick. So I'm glad that Mike Greenberg is staying with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, although he's going to get his chance one time as a GM.
I think until Jacksonville officially signs it.
Or they tell him, hey, we'll quadruple your salary. But Shad Khan says, do not tell them back there. Yeah. So then he can't text or call back. Can you imagine if that happened again?
Yeah, until Jacksonville officially signs their general manager, I'll hold off and on that, because it was crazy, because I just remember when Liam Cohen pulled his name from the hat. We were doing the shows. Liam is back, and then it's a day later. You're doing the shows. Liam is gone. It actually broke during T. Kraz's show. While he was on the air, that Liam was actually in Jacksonville.
Yeah, Friday.
Is that a
news dump?
Oh no, I thought I saw Aaron Glenn up there a moment ago. It's not Aaron Glenn. I think it's Ed Reed actually behind you.
He's here. Yeah, he's got the beard. He's got the beard.
Yeah, Yeah. Him and Aaron Glenn kind of look very similar.
Isn't it something that Ed Reed is not big physically, but was such a badass?
But you wouldn't let him hit you.
Hell no. Such a thumper. Sometimes Sapp used to say, your buddy, Sapp used to say, build like Tarzan.
I got you finish the story, but I got to tell my Sapp story now too.
Yeah. It's a sad Sapp story. No, it's a sad Sapp story. But no, he would always say, build like Tarzan, play like Jane. Or he'd say, he's on the old bus. He's on the old bus team. In other words, a guy looks good going off and on the bus. But what do you do on the field? You know what I mean? And you can't make the club in the tub. That's another one when you're always injured. He did have sayings.
Warren did?
99.
Yeah,
yes.
Warren.
The Hall of Famer.
So what I've learned yesterday is every member of the media has had something similar with Warren Sapp the same way I did.
Everyone.
And so I'll tell everybody what happened to me on Radio Row before I get into that story. Have you ever, and if you want to talk about it, you don't have to, but did you ever have anything with Warren Sapp or a story like that?
At a Super Bowl, he was named a 2 All-Decades team. And I forget what question I asked him. Was it more the first decade or this? And he's like, do you not understand? Do you do your homework? I thought you had to do homework to be a reporter. I knew him for so long. I covered him back in the day. I knew his whole thing, his wife. Another time, when I was on Bay News 9, we had a limo service, and it was a barter. It was great. That's how you get big names.
We had that at a radio station before, the limo service. They're the best.
So, Nick, that's how you get guests. I would go in the locker room and say, hey, can you come on our TV show? It's 11 o'clock at night. And then sometimes maybe we'd start taping it at 9:30. And I'd say, we got a limo. We'll pick you up and bring you to the station and back. Oh, and then it's like, just give me your address, man. Don't worry. And it would only be for like 2.5 hours, 3 hours, get you to the station and then get you back. Now, were there a couple of times where a player would use that limo and go out, and my boss would call me in and say, "We just got a bill. Who was your guest last night? We're not paying that." Then I'd have to go in the locker room and say, "Dude, what did you do, man?" "Well, we went out, we went to E-board, then we went to the doll house, and we went." And I'm like, "You can't do that. You can't do that." But my point was, I used to bring Sap. Say I brought him out. So one time I did, and we also had a steakhouse that got a gift certificate. That's another thing. It's great to give to an athlete, and they'll do it. So it was a steakhouse. It wasn't like Charlie's or Burns.
I love Charlie's.
It was a good steakhouse, and I do the interview with Sap, a sit down with him, okay, and for TV at the Bucks facility. We're done. I said, "Warren, thank you very much for doing this, man. Here's a token of our appreciation, the gift certificate." He goes, "That ain't gonna get it done." Boom, threw it at me. I mean, no, no. Over time, he respects me, and always. I'll tell you though, Nick, on the field, oh my God.
Well, yeah, on the field, he's one of the greatest ever. And
I saw him at the
but...
YMC in South Tampa dunking in a pickup basketball. I was also in this celebrity baseball game at Thresher's Field in Clearwater, and Sap was playing first base. I think he hit the ball every time. He was incredible. I said, "You play baseball?" He goes, "I hate baseball. It's really just too slow for me." Those freaks of nature. There was one time when we were at Disney, and we're on the sidelines, and it's 100 degrees. It's a training camp day, and you can hear Warren talking a mile a minute from the parking lot, man. He was so loud. And so we get to the sideline. We're there kneeling down, taking video. He's talking. A football was at his feet, okay? Somebody, whether it was a coach, "Hey, man, give us that football." Sap bends down and throws a spiral. I swear to God, it must have been like 70 yards. This is the defensive tackle. I'm like, this guy is a freak of nature. So there's my Warren Sapp. Now, what happened to you yesterday with 99?
Warren Sapp was on Radio Row. He did an interview with another radio station in Tampa.
Yep.
And who's that with the Saints right there?
I don't know. All these guys, I can't.
He's on the Saints.
Yeah, he's the Aints.
So Warren Sapp, he did another interview with the station here in Tampa, and he had just got off the set. And I said, "Hey, Warren, would you come on the air with us?" And he said, "Where?" I said, "Tampa." And he goes, "I just did Tampa." I said, "Yeah, but different radio station." He said, "Who are you with?" I said, "WDAE." And he's like, "Well, I just did Tampa." And as we're having this conversation, we're walking, and he's in front of me, so I'm behind him. I'm the guy that's like, Warren. I'm the annoying guy, but you have to do that in order to get some of the guys. It's a tough world out here, and you have so much competition that you're fighting trying to get people on your show. And so I said, we're a different radio station. He turned around and he looks at me and he goes, since we're just on YouTube, I can do this. But he goes, actually, just in case this is potted up somewhere on the air by mistake, I'll keep it clean. But he goes, "You don't think I know who the F you are?" Which it's kind of cool to think Warren Sapp said that to me. He goes, "You don't know, you don't think I know who the F you are?" And I'm thinking like, oh, all right, you don't know me, but all right, he knows the station. And I got the vibe that
Did he say the call letters? Did he say the call letters?
Yeah, he knew who we were. He clearly, I think someone at DAE pissed him off, but that was my interaction with Warren Sapp, and I just turned around and
so
Cam Hayward just walked right by you there. Yeah, I just turned around. I'm like, dude, my bad. So I turned around, I walked away, and then after that, then I had the David Montgomery, little thing there where I thought I was talking to David Montgomery and it wasn't David Montgomery. And then the other weird interaction I've had here is actually it was when I was trying to get Warren Sapp. The Warren Sapp thing led to many different weird things. So
that's how it usually goes.
You can never tell who the publicists are.
True.
And so I didn't know who Warren's publicist was. They all have a handler. And so I'm trying to locate her as he's on with the Tampa station. And I asked this girl to my right, I go, "Are you working with Warren?" And she says no. And then she starts talking to someone. She's laughing. So immediately I'm thinking, oh, she's brushed me out. I go, "Come on, you messing with me, or are you Warren's handler?" And she goes, "Dude, I do a radio show. I'm on this station right here." I think it was a sports station in Nashville. And I was like, "All right, my bad. Look, like I did call her out, in a way. So partly my fault, but that's how it went." So did you see Rashad White's comments today about Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield?
I did. Why don't you tell our viewers?
So Rashad White, I thought this was interesting. He says, "I say all the time." He shared it with Joe Buck's fans website. "I played with Daniels and Brady, and I've played with Baker. You ask anybody, I've said, interview or not, Mayfield is the best quarterback that I've ever played with."
That's unbelievable. Look, you can love Baker Mayfield. The GOAT is the GOAT. The GOAT is the GOAT. And to me, can you imagine when Brady sees that? If he really thinks that, does he think that Mayfield is better than Tom Brady? That I would be surprised too. But I will tell you this. They love him in that locker room. Oh, my God. Because look at this. Brady was 45 years old, 43, 44, 45. It was also COVID. They didn't even eat. They weren't in the locker room together. It was a strange time. But also, a lot of the 20-some-year-old guys told me, they go, "Tom, we can't identify with one another." You know what their nickname was for Brady? Old head. And Brady would go with it. That was what they called him. That was started by Devin White, the former linebacker.
Devin White, he's not here on Radio Row.
No, but it was like he was voted by what media outlet the biggest fall in the NFL this year.
I mean, look, the Bucs did good by getting rid of him. That was the right move.
He didn't make it in with the Eagles either.
So, but there's a little bit of truth to Rashad White's comments. I know when you see them in print, it sounds worse than it is. And I'm not going to sit here and say, Baker Mayfield. Nobody's going to say Baker Mayfield's career
go ahead, good, because I want to expand on this
than Tom Brady's. But if you look at the year that Rashad White, he played what? He played 1 year with Tom Brady.
Yes.
It was the year after they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He played the year they won 8 games, right?
Yes.
He didn't play. Was Rashad White a rookie the year they lost to the Rams?
I got to look it up.
Because Tom, he might have been a rookie that year. But then the second year, when the Bucs went 8-9, Brady didn't have the best year. And the numbers that Baker's put up the last 2 years is better than what Brady produced in those 2 years he played with Rashad White.
But see, playoff Lenny's carries went down. Rashad White's carries, he started getting the rock more. That's why. He was more of the guy. He actually became the go-to guy. So I think for him, it worked out better. But here's the thing. Tom could not beat you with your legs, and at the end of Tom Brady's career, he admitted it. He didn't want to get hit. Who could blame him? So they became one-dimensional. He even told us, Nick, after a couple of games, like, it was a pass-a-thon. Once you get in a pass-a-thon, opposing defenses know what you're doing. You're screwed. You're done. Where with Baker, he still will take that extra hit. He's going to avoid. He's going to run a little bit. You know what I mean? And also, like, he goes out and he parties with the players and drinks and this and that. And one more thing while we're on this, I had somebody get me on social media, and this was driving me crazy. They were all over Mike Evans, saying that Mike Evans is lying at the Pro Bowl, saying that he heard about Liam Cohen taking the Jacksonville Jaguars head coaching job on Instagram. And somebody on Twitter hit me up and is like, "Oh, I thought that they were all on a boat in the Bahamas and Liam Cohen called them." Oh, so who's telling the true story? Mike Evans doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. He's not a partier. He didn't go on the boat trip fishing with the offensive lineman and Brady when Liam Cohen called him. So Mike Evans was not telling a fib. He was telling the truth. That just drives me crazy. But Baker's like one of the guys. Brady was good. Brady didn't think like he was all that, but he was in his 40s, and he was real serious.
Well, I think Tristan Wirfs even said he didn't even have his number, right?
That was so funny. And guess what? The next day, Brady heard the press conference, and Brady laughed, and he goes, "Rookie, here's my number. You can call me anytime. Don't worry, and just call me Tom." So
Yeah,
that's funny.
I mean, Tom was definitely a little bit older for sure, and I think that definitely that differs the relationship. Baker is more of this team, but back to the thing you said about Mike Evans.
Yes.
I mean, a player finding out about a trade on social media, it's very common.
Yeah. Nowadays it is.
Look at it was yesterday. The news broke about Jimmy Butler. There was a fan. Did you see the video of the fan in the front row?
No, I did not.
So there was a video. It's all over social media. There was a video of a fan in the front row. He actually broke the news to the Miami Heat players that were sitting on the bench. And they're like, hey, Jimmy Butler just got traded. Here's what he got traded for. And, I thought that was pretty crazy. Oh, dude, George Kittle is right behind you.
He's the man. He was on, there he goes. George, you're the man. He's got an entourage.
He's got a huge entourage.
He's got a huge entourage, man. He's got a big one. He's got one as big as Jaden Daniels, because Jaden Daniels had one of the biggest ones I've seen. But then I found out that his mom is his agent, so she.
Oh she's those are always the worst.
Yeah.
She made some comments about no girls are going to be dating Jaden, and it was a little kind of weird. She's kind of getting a little overprotective. But yeah, a lot of the times these guys do find that information out on social media, just like that Jimmy Butler trade last night.
Did you see the Durant video on the bench in a game? He was getting a blow. He was sitting down, and with the Luka Doncic trade, and he's like. They're on the bench with the phone in the middle of an NBA game, like, you what? And they're like, what? What? To the Lakers? What? Like, yes, so that's how this stuff happens on social media, because it's so instantaneous, man. And even on the bench, they got their phones, Nick. How about that?
Yeah,
during a game.
That's kind of weird that they have their phones on the bench. I'm not surprised. But the Luka trade, I mean, that was big news. We went to dinner last night, and even our waitress, she knew that we were with the media. She even asked, "What'd you think of that Luka Doncic trade?" And it's like, wow, this is called mainstream media, like people that aren't into the NBA.
Yeah,
I mean, like myself, I'm not an everyday NBA watcher. I'm more of a college basketball fan than anything. I'm going to watch basketball. Like even last night, there was an NBA game on in the room. I ended up turning on Arkansas and Texas, despite it was a blowout, and then. Texas made a nice comeback. Yeah, I like college sports. You know
Nick
how
Wize is our college guy on WDAE.
Look, I think that a lot of people talk about the Super Bowl being the biggest and best event, and don't get me wrong, I think it's great. I love March Madness. That's my favorite event in the sporting world. Great.
You must love that. Do you go to a sports book during March Madness? Because oh God, man, you would.
I haven't done that yet, but I created my own little sports book in my backyard, so I got every game on on the screens, and I can follow all the action. But yeah, March Madness is my favorite event of the entire year. Now I don't watch much college basketball. Early on in the year, I'll turn it on if it's the only thing on. If I bet a couple bucks on it, but I love the tournament. And come the end of the year, mid-February, even the conference tournaments, I enjoy those too. Those single elimination tournaments. There's nothing like those in sports.
It's funny because in our market, basketball just doesn't resonate. And when they built it was called the Ice Palace, where the Lightning play now. Okay. They built it with the hopes of getting an NBA franchise. And did you know that they made the showers in the locker room where the Lightning take shower? It's up real high in case you got 6'7", 7-footers. Seriously, wow. There was talk, and then they did all these studies, and it's like there'll be too much. And of course, the area's grown a lot more now since back in the day, but that might be a little too much to support. Like also an NBA team and an NHL team and an NFL team and an MLB team. I think that would be a little too much.
I think we get, anytime we talk NBA, you get a lot of people don't want to hear it here, right? And that's probably the biggest critique of Cowherd and Dan Patrick. And I don't think those guys talk a lot of NBA, but I think it's within their rights and their job as a national radio show to talk about it, especially when there's a big story like the Luka Doncic trade. I wonder, though, would people embrace it? Would people embrace it if they had a local team?
Yes,
would it then change
it would be
a little
different.
bit?
It's like in Orlando. It's so funny. We used to on TV, they made it, we're going to be regional. We're going to be on Beta's Sports Connection. We're going to be Tampa and Orlando. Let me tell you something. Orlando, Miami, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, it's not a region. It's 4 different cities. It's almost like 4 different countries. It really is. And when you go over to Orlando, okay, the Magic, That's what you're talking about. But here, people there's a few, and I know we might get a few say, no, I follow the Magic. But if you have a team, it's a different story. I remember, Nick, doing a half-hour TV show on Bay News 9, and we were then regional. So Orlando Magic get in the playoffs, they get in the finals. It was the year when they had Dwight Howard. We had this guy that was a reporter traveling, covering the Magic. I would start out the top of the show. They call it the first block. All right, it's the Magic. I got to go to the Magic. I do the Magic highlights. I send it out to the reporter. The reporter talks for a minute. He sends it to the locker room for a couple of interviews, back out for another 2, and boom. The ratings in Tampa Bay on Bay News 9, it was like click, 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 click. Everybody was clicking off. Boss brings me in. Elliot, what's up with your ratings? I'm like, what'd you lead with? The Magic. You told us we're regional, Tampa and Orlando. He's like, it went to his hashtags. Hashtags is the worst rating that you can get. And it was the Orlando Magic, and they were in the finals. But it was the Tampa Bay market ratings. So I'm telling Billy Donovan and the Gators, they won back-to-back. I would lead with the Florida Gators.
It's the only time I ever won my bracket is that year. I took the Gators all the way.
But it went hashtag again. Basketball in the Tampa Bay market. I'm telling you, man, it's not a basketball market. I'm just telling you.
How did the Raptors do when they were there in 2020? I mean, I guess it's hard to really tell. There was nothing there.
No, it wasn't. And it was during COVID. They practiced in St. Leo.
Yeah, I never ended up going to a game.
They stayed at the JW Marriott. They played at the Forum, and it just didn't.
Yeah, I never ended up making it to a game, so I didn't think so either. Yeah, we're live from Radio Row. It's been quite the day.
T-Kraz woke up. He slept in.
T-Kraz is here. How you feeling, T-Kraz?
Look at that. He's rested. He's got to get his energy.
Look, what did we wear the same shirt today? I think we got the same shirt on.
Oh, my God.
We're like twins. I'm Danny DeVito, I guess, and you'd be Arnold. So must be nice. But yeah, no, it's been great out here. Rock, you're going to the press conference today.
Yeah,
Tom Brady's going to be there.
Yeah, I can't wait. The Fox press conference. It's a big show. It's a big production. They bring them all out, and when you start realizing how many on air work at Fox and the talent, oh my God! And they've had music. It's a big production. They've been having rehearsals for that and the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. They do it up, and it's just for a press conference, and then they break off in the media scrums. That means like so many, and there's so many. But you try to get in a question or two, and you get there, and you see they're real cool.
Is there going to be a lot of people in that? You think? So we packed, especially with Tom Brady there.
It's Howie.
Oh, it's all of them.
It's all of them. This Aaron Andrews. It's all of them. It's everybody, man. So it's a good one. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it to that one. We have so if you watch the stream, I think 1:30 it's going to be 2:30 Tampa time. I'm not going to be able to get him. Spencer Rattler's over at the Saints. I've been trying to get him on in Tampa.
He's with the enemy, man.
Yeah, well, I know that, which is why I want to have him on. You put him on with T-Kraz, and you never know what T-Kraz might say to him. But I think
T-Kraz might piss him off, and it might screw him up mentally.
Yeah, we have the ability to get in his head and do the work that we need to be, doing to hurt the Saints. I don't know if he's going to come on though. When I said the words Tampa, he was like, he was nicer about it than Warren Sapp, but he wasn't, super nice about wanting to. He wasn't offering his services. That's for sure.
Saints, Falcons. I don't think the Panthers. I haven't seen anyone here regarding the Carolina Panthers.
Well, Bryce Young was on with Dan Patrick earlier today. And Dan was over at the pickleball club. So I haven't seen him on Radio Row yet, but he's in New Orleans. And then Joe Burrow was also on Dan Patrick. And then Burrow was over there. And then he walked past right here. We saw Joe Burrow probably going to do Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
So all the quarterbacks, they're here. They're all promoting their brands. So Bryce Young is around. But no, I have not seen him. I do know coming up later today, if you're watching on the stream, I don't know how long we're going to go till. Rock, I know, has to go to the press conference. I'm going to do some hustling around here, try to stack up some more guests here for the afternoon show.
Nice.
But we will be recording, but it'll be live on video. Christopher Mad Dog Russo is coming on the show.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
I'm excited to hear T-Kraz and Russo go back and forth. I think that's going to be really awesome. Again, you'll hear it on the radio, but you'll get it live here on the YouTube feed, which we have a nice set of viewers here right now. You were mentioning the showers earlier. Somebody said, been hanging out in the showers much, Rock.
No, I haven't. I just was told that, man, that the showers were built high up in case they got an NBA team. No, that's not my thing. Homie, don't play that game. That's the one thing, too. I'm not even going to get into that. When I do that, then everybody starts climbing in. It's always the strangest situation being in the locker room, and I don't know how it's always done like that. People ask me, why do you have to interview players when they're getting dressed? Here's the deal. College does this because college, they're still taking orders. If you had to wait, an NFL player all week prepares for that game is done, win or lose. Now they got family waiting for them. Do you think if a PR person goes, okay, now after you take your shower, can you stick around? Can you go over to a different room and do an interview with the media? No, they're gone. And especially if somebody screwed up or didn't do good. You want to, what happened on that play, man? They're not gonna do that. So that's the way it's done. But it is very, very strange. Enough on the locker room situation. Though.
Well, I mean, I can throw in a shower story. the Rays have a shower beers in their locker, or in the shower. I didn't go in the shower, but when you walk past, you've been in the Rays clubhouse.
Oh yeah,
the Rays clubhouse. If you walk past where the shower is, like the hallway down into it, at the end of it is a giant Bud Light refrigerator just filled with beers.
I just learned. See, when I go in the Rays clubhouse, I don't go anywhere near the door that takes you to the showers. That's just me.
Well, no, it's like it was like right by Wander Franco's locker. When he was on the team,
that is the way.
And obviously the media would be surrounding him, but it's right there to the left. Like you can't really miss it. But yeah, they have a giant Budweiser fridge, and I'm thinking like, wow, this is because when you think athletes, you think they don't. Partake in some of the things normal people do. Yeah, baseball, they do it all.
What's so different between baseball and NBA, NHL, and NFL? The other teams fly in. The next day, they play the game, and after the game is over, they fly out. Baseball, a team comes in, and they're there for 4 days and nights.
Yep.
So it's like I've always asked players, like, well, what do you do? You go, what do you think? I go back to my room and read a book? No. And they don't have to be at the field usually until like 2:00 in the afternoon so they can sleep in. So it's just a lot different for baseball players being in the city for 3 nights, and they're not going to just stay in the hotel room, No,
they're not. I used to work at a hotel. It was the only 5-star hotel in the Metro Detroit area. There's a couple more now, but at the time it was the only one, and it was where all the players for all the teams, they would stay there for all the sports. And the baseball guys, obviously, like you just said, they would stay there multiple days in a row. And
right.
Yeah, they would definitely leave the most. And if they missed the team bus, it was a really cool job. When the players would miss the team bus, I'd get to drive them down to the stadium. And, they tip really well.
Awesome.
Mostly in baseball, they're always chewing tobacco. Like tobacco, even still to this day, is so big in baseball. It's so disgusting. But yeah, they partake in all the regular things that us regular people do.
They love going to the casinos, though. That's like the number one thing. Because I remember even in Detroit, there's a casino in Detroit.
A lot of casinos.
That's what Detroit. I thought. They love that. They right to the casino, man.
Well, I mean, that's when we were hanging out at the casino here in New Orleans, which is going to be a hot hangout spot. I imagine if you go there tonight, if you're in New Orleans, you're going to see everybody. We were there 2 nights ago, and Jason Kelce and his wife walked right by with their little entourage. Oddly enough, Taylor Swift was playing on the radio when he walked by. Oh, well, there's what's his face? Nick Wright just walked through.
Oh, you don't deserve it.
No, he's a little bit annoying, especially with the Chiefs. But very recognizable with that nose and that hair. But yeah, everybody was hanging out at the casino. The Pat McAfee guys were there. Like I said, Jason Kelce and his wife had just walked by us. The casino is going to be the hot spot for sure.
You know what else I know? You guys, obviously, you guys noticed how heavy the security is on the streets in the French Quarter.
Oh, it's been insane.
I had to do a story about that today.
In fact, the police officer that just walked by, the back of his jacket says Dallas Police. Did they bring police in from other cities?
That I don't know, but I know it's National Guard. It's federal and local and state. And I was talking to somebody who was giving me the lowdown and President Trump is also going to be here. So this is the first time in a long time that a sitting president has gone to the Super Bowl. It might even be the first ever. We have to look that up. But what do you call it? The Secret Service is scouring everything and on rooftops, drones. And so it is. But you know what? I haven't seen a lot of fans early in the week because it's so expensive to be here if you're here a week.
Yesterday was different.
But I noticed, and I did notice, and I was talking to even some Kansas City Chiefs fans, they're like, I'm glad that I see armed police here because now I know it's safe after what happened in January 1st. You know what I mean? And 14 were killed in the French Quarter. And so have they checked your backpack? Like, if you try to walk, see, I've done a lot of walking.
I haven't had anyone go in through my backpack yet, but the security presence is noticeable.
Yeah, but what's strange is sealed weapons are allowed, but coolers and backpacks are not. They're looking for bombs. So if you try to walk into the French Quarter with a backpack, they'll just say, "Excuse me," and you just show it to them. And then you're on your way. But fans want to feel safe, so I don't have a problem.
Yeah, we know they're not searching for drugs. My bag is in here.
I saw your face, and I'm like, he's coming up with something. I knew he was saying something.
No,
with Trump here, and that's so they have this X-ray machine. It's outside of the Superdome.
Seth Rollins.
Detect things. Oh, WWE.
He's going to walk behind you. I'm going to turn the camera on you.
Which way should I go? This way or is this way good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Let me go back over there. All right. Let's see if he's going to walk through.
WWE.
Did he stop?
Brother?
Oh, he might have stopped.
He might have stopped.
Oh, wait. No, there he is.
Boom, boom.
There's Seth Rollins. He's coming through on the camera right now.
That video, baby.
Yep. There you go. It's hard for me to explain where he is because I'm looking at you where I can see, but there's not a delay, but the screen I'm looking at is the opposite of what I'm looking at.
Got you.
Another good story from New Orleans last night. All right, I'm gonna describe what this girl said to us, and then I want you to describe what you think she does for a living. So we get back to the hotel last night and get into the elevator. We go to the elevator area. Really pretty girl. Standing there getting ready to get on the elevator too. And I don't want it to be weird. So I always, like to break the ice. She had a package in her hand and I said, what do you have in the package? She got something delivered to the hotel. So what do you have in the package? And because it was like a big giant package, it was just random to have delivered
you asked that.
to the random hotel. So I strike up the conversation and said, hey, what'd you get? I said, oh, you had a package delivered here. What'd you get? She said, more clothes. And so I was like, all right. And then we get on to the elevator. She asked where I was from. I asked where she was from. We actually asked at the exact same time. We went, where are you from? And I said, Tampa. She said that she used to live in Vegas. Now she's a nomad and I'll throw it up, very pretty girl. So she had this package that was, like this big, filled with clothes. Obviously, these weren't big clothes. Lived in Vegas. Now she doesn't. She's a nomad and travels. What do you think she does for a living?
A call girl.
That's what I said. I said she's either here to dance at the clubs or she's a call girl, very high end because she was very pretty.
Don't tell me you asked her that too.
No, I didn't. I'm regretting not to ask, but yes, in between. So there's my room, her room, and then T-Crez's room.
Oh,
in between,
she's right next to you and
yes,
T-Crez?
in the middle of our rooms is like.
Oh my God.
Drew Brees is right there. We got Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Let's see if I can get the camera on him. Drew Brees is on that stage right there in that jacket. He's got the Saints jacket on. It's Drew Brees.
Yeah. There he goes. There he goes.
But yes, in between our rooms it was definitely a call girl. There's no way that it was.
Were any noises coming from within that
I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything. It's brick walls.
It is okay.
So it's hard to tell, but I definitely think that's what she was doing. And there's no way. She checked out this morning. Oh, dang it. I was hoping to see her.
You guys are keeping an eye on her. That is funny.
I was just fascinated by it because I immediately texted him because he was with me. I immediately texted him. I go, dude, hook her for sure.
No, this is where
there's no way she's not.
This is where they make their money. This is where they make their money at the Super Bowl, man. There used to be a thing, Nick, back in the day where there was was it a 6-foot or a 10-foot rule for lap dances in Tampa Bay during the Super Bowl, and that became a national story. They were trying to cut back, and you had to be 6 foot away for a lap dance.
Because of COVID?
No, this is way before COVID.
Oh,
man.
I thought you were talking because of COVID.
No,
there was
wait,
a 6 foot
there
rule.
was. Were you here, T-Crash, for that? Was it 10 a foot rule for slap dances? I don't know if T-Crash
Who would buy a lap dance if you have to be a foot away?
No, I know. I don't know. I don't. Who's enforcing that in the club?
Nobody. But seriously, who would pay for that? Like if you're just standing in front. I mean, what a waste of money. Now
I remember it. It's a long time ago.
Nowadays, strip clubs are such a waste of money as is.
OnlyFans, they're making a lot of money.
If you're a hot girl, there's so many things you can do on the internet to get rich.
Oh my God!
I don't have those opportunities that some of these pretty girls have. That's for sure. So Drew Brees is on what? That's the iHeart podcast stage, I believe.
Yes,
that
is
the NFL insiders to our left.
Yeah,
we saw Ian Rappaport over there yesterday. Stephen A. Smith walked through. I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen Adam Schefter walk through yet.
No, he usually doesn't come through here. He's so busy. He's talking to scouts, GMs.
You know what I did?
Head coaches, owners.
You know what I did do today? I stopped by the set of. So I'm walking down the street to get here.
Oh, one of the outside sets.
Get Up was set up. So
nice.
Get Up was set. I called my brother. I said, "Yo, turn on the TV," and. So he turns on the TV, and I'm right behind Greeny.
Oh my God! Did you wave
and
to the
so
camera?
my brother took a picture. There's me standing right behind Greeny on Stand Up today, or on Get Up this morning. So that's me. I said it to my wife. She goes, "What are you fist pumping?" And I was like, "No, I was like mid wave to my brother." But
funny.
Photobombed Greeny. Yeah, there's me kind of doing like the peace.
I see
sign.
it. Very nice. You got on,
But,
man. National TV. Fans can do that. It's great for fans to come, even if you don't have money for the game. I know if you're a fan and you're going to make the trip, you got to, I understand that. But there's a lot of opportunities from big names coming out of the Superdome or the Convention Center last night. There was a huge bunch of former NFL players, and they were all right in front of me, and they were being real nice to fans and taking pictures and signing autographs, and I thought that was kind of cool, It was right near the fan experience. I guess that opened up.
That opened up yesterday, which is right outside of the Convention Center.
Yes.
So, yeah, the fans were all around here yesterday. Yeah. There was a Jeep that kept going around. Did you see the Jeep that was all decked out in Eagle stuff? They had it wrapped and everything, and there's just a girl that was hanging out at the top of the Jeep going, "Go Birds, go Birds." The Eagles fans are so annoying. This is why the Super Bowl, this is the matchup nobody wanted, because you have to either root for the Chiefs in the three-peat, which nobody wants to do. We're all sick of the Chiefs, right? We're all talking about phantom calls, and it's interesting, like how big of a conversation that's becoming. And I, listening to, on my walk here on the iHeartRadio app, listening to Dan Patrick talk to Joe Burrow, he even asked, did he think that the Chiefs are getting the calls? And he said, "I think Ryan Fitzpatrick right there behind you."
Fitzmagic.
Fitzmagic. Or at least a guy that looks like him. I don't even know. Was that Fitzpatrick?
It's possible.
I saw that guy in the media room. I don't think it's him, actually.
No, if he's in the media room, no.
It's a guy that looks just like him, though.
There was a guy here that's a tech for one of the TV stations that is Bruce Arians look like, and he goes with it. He even wears that kind of oh yeah. He's out of Tampa Bay. I've seen him. I haven't seen him here.
There's a giant
this year.
pickle. What was I saying in a story? See, that's what happens.
The Eagles fans.
Yes, the Eagles fans. So that's the thing with the Super Bowl is I actually had the conversation with my wife yesterday because she's sick and tired of the Chiefs, which we all are.
Yep.
And then the Eagles fans we all don't like because they're just annoying. But at the same time, I also appreciate the Eagles fans and their diehardness. I was talking to my brother this morning. He mentioned literally the same point I just said to you. He's like, "Oh, we're sick of the Chiefs. I also want to root for this horrible fan base." And I said, "Yeah, but you almost have to respect it." And I said, "I wish it was kind of like that in Tampa Bay. Like, I wish I could go outside of the arena after a loss and just get the content that people can get in Philadelphia, the people saying the most egregious things." I've got a buddy who does radio in Philly, and he'll go out after the losses. He'll stand out in front of their stadiums, and he'll just hold a microphone there. And the Philly fans will say the most obnoxious things. Then a day later, he'll get a message from these people like, "Hey, can you take me out of that video? I don't really like what I said." But when Philly fans buy a ticket to an event, they feel it gives them the right to say anything, right? Which we saw earlier this year when that guy, went off on the Packers fan at the game.
Yes.
But, and then you think after a loss, like radio there has to be so compelling. The callers are so entertaining. So as much as we dislike the things they do, and I don't agree with trashing your city when your team wins, but I appreciate their diehard fandom. And I think it makes for great radio, which I'm always rooting for great radio. So I do appreciate it in that manner. But in the conversation that Joe Burrow had with Dan Patrick, Dan asked him, does he think that the Chiefs are getting calls? And Joe responded with, I think everyone gets calls. And then Dan Patrick said, do you get calls? And he said, I don't get any calls.
He knows, and he just didn't want it because that would have gone viral. That would have been in, then everybody would have just, blah, blah, blah. Or they really like him saying that. Let me ask you this, Nick. Do you think there will be more Chiefs fans or more Eagles fans?
Well, so far, I've seen more Eagles fans in town, and it's kind of funny. We're going to turn the camera on you real quick. We'll get back to this. Jeff Saturday is going to roll through
the former
here.
Coach.
There he is, right? Yeah, the former coach for
baby.
1 year. Jeff Saturday walking by.
Now back to ESPN.
No, actually, you're going. Okay, you got to go that way. Now. It's too late. He's gone. Okay. But yeah, next time
always
go
keep
that
going
way.
This way.
Always
Gotcha.
go that way.
Gotcha. They always go back though, like Herman Edwards. You play to win the game. He was Arizona State. Once he's done, back to ESPN. Jeff Saturday, Indianapolis Colts, back to ESPN.
But
the fans.
Yeah. So the Chiefs
have been in it so many years.
And that's exactly what we were talking to the waitress last night. She was like, "Oh yeah, I got a friend. She's a Chiefs fan, and she's not going to come down because they've got to do it so many times." And I'm like, "It must be nice, right?" And where you've done this so many times. Like there's so many fan bases that have never experienced anything like this.
Right.
And the one conversation I've had with many people, obviously, it'd been great if Tampa was here, but the one conversation that you've had with everybody. Is a lot of people, the sense that I get around here from media, obviously outside of Kansas City and Philadelphia, a lot of people really wanted to see Buffalo, Detroit, just because
without a doubt,
what would have transpired here with those two fan bases never winning a Super Bowl would have been just next level.
I heard a lot of former players and Marcus, the great Marcus, is right behind you with Darren Ravel. See right there, baby. He is the man. See right here.
Yes, I'm trying to get. Is that Jimmy Shapiro right there?
Maybe.
Where's Jimmy? I need to meet Jimmy Shapiro.
Yeah.
Do you know Jimmy?
He's still he's still smooth. But Jimmy. You know what?
We're gonna find out if it's Jimmy
on NFL Network this morning, or was it last night? Yeah, there's the bus. There's the bus. He's great. The pro player. I just got him. He was at Innisbrook. He was great. He was just at Innisbrook. This new format where the NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA greats play golf. Major League Baseball won.
We had them in. We had them in the studio.
Yes,
had John Smoltz on.
Smoltz and that.
Did he end up coming on? He didn't come into the building. Okay, yeah. He ended up canceling the building.
So get this.
We did have a couple of the guys on.
So Pat Donovan.
They had Jerome Bettis.
Pat asked him at least 3 times, "Don't you really pull for the fat guy?" Like when you said, "Don't you really pull for the fat guy?" And the 3rd time, the bus said, "Man, you really like that question." He goes, "Well, I'm a heavy set guy, and I thought you and I could relate to that."
All fat radio guys do that. I got a friend in radio. He lost all of his weight. He used to be a monster of a dude, and he, every question he always interviewed people. There would always be something about weight or food. He interviewed Barack Obama once, and he literally asked him, "What's your favorite Dorito?" And I'm like, "Dude, can you stop being fat for 2 minutes? Like you have this is when Barack was the president." He asked him about his Dorito. He did the same thing to Jay-Z in an interview, and it didn't go over very well. My encounter with Jay-Z was much like the encounter with Warren Sapp yesterday. It didn't go over very well.
These big celebrities, you got to take your shot. You got to take your shot, man. What does Hulk Hogan say? If they aren't nipping at your heels, you're not doing it right. Look at Hulk Hogan. He got booed in Los Angeles bad. I saw The Undertaker on a podcast. They were howling. They're like, "What about how we got?" And Undertaker's like starting to laugh. Oh, it was something. And he's like, oh. But Hulk was on McAfee because I know a guy that's his handler and texted me. He goes, "Hey, he's going on McAfee today." So right before McAfee got here, Hulk went with Jimmy Hart, and they brought it up on how much he got booed in Los Angeles. But you know what Hulk was saying? He's like, "Brother, you know how many impressions I got from that night I blew away everybody else, brother. So you know what? It's better to, and that's what Undertaker said. I'd rather get a negative reaction than get no. Kevin Nash said that. I'd rather get a negative reaction than no reaction. Because if you get no reaction, that's not good. You know what I mean?
No, it's all about social media and impressions nowadays.
See?
Even for guys like Hulk Hogan.
He knows about impressions. How about that?
Definitely does. Everybody does.
Brother.
We got Charlie Batch walking through.
There he is.
What's up, Charlie? Loved you when you were with the Lions, buddy.
Yeah. He eats huge Lions. That made your day. That made your day. I mean, did it not, Nick? Why'd you fist bump?
Those were dark days as Lions fans, to be honest. Those were dark days as Lions
I always
fans.
liked Charlie Batch.
He had a great Thanksgiving Day game I'll never forget against the Patriots, but I liked Charlie Batch. He came in after he was the replacement to Scott Mitchell, who we were kind of all sick of at the time. And Scott Mitchell was good, but he wasn't great. Oh, there's Bobby Bones. We got Bobby Bones. Drew. That was Bobby Bones that had Drew Brees.
How about that? That could be you next year.
Yeah.
It's in San Francisco, by the way.
Next year, San Francisco. It's going to be weird with the time. We're screwed up now with the time change. Wait till we're in San Francisco.
About that.
And everything's 3 hours behind. There's no way.
There's no way then. Pat and Aaron are coming then.
San Francisco. San Francisco has a nice little setup over here because they are the host of the next Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are the host of the next, not the next draft, but the 2026 draft. So they've got a setup over there. Really, Pittsburgh is what's been feeding us. There's not much in the media room, but the Pittsburgh setup, they had these pierogies yesterday. Did you have one of those?
And the sauce.
That bacon, onion, jam or whatever. Oh, my God.
Oh, so good.
It was so good.
Pittsburgh people are nice. Green Bay are so nice.
Yeah, those Green Bay people were nice, but it's because they were from Milwaukee, so they're a little bit better. But yeah, the Milwaukee setup with the Green Bay Packers over there was absolutely incredible. Some of these setups are really cool. I mean, iHeart does a really good job with the podcast setup, which people have seen behind you every time the camera goes on you.
Is next year T-Crest going to be sitting in a recliner maybe, or something nice, or a couch for the interview set?
It's been a great learning experience for me. There's a lot that I'm going to do differently next year. I mean, this has been fantastic, but there's a lot that I've learned that if we do this again, there's got to be some changes made to enhance the experience. I mean, Drew Brees right behind you. He's gone at this point, but
he didn't work out at NBC, did he? It was only a 1-year deal. I think
he wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Who also I thought was not. In fact, I want to be mean because look, there's probably people that don't think I'm very good, and that's fine. He tries, but Colt McCoy is a rough listen to. He does play-by-play for college football on NBC. He filled in on the first team one of those times when Todd Blackledge was out. And that was the first time where I ever felt like, wow, that was that's a tough watch. Like it was like, you think Tom Brady's not good. This was a whole other level and not good.
Really?
It was a really tough. It was to the point where I actually felt bad for Colt because I knew that he was probably going to go back and listen to that. And he was probably going to not be happy with himself. I think he has the potential. He could be there. I think he sounded nervous all the time, and he was thrown into a really big slot with no experience, which is a tough place to be thrown in. That's like me being on, if Fox Sports Radio were to just throw me on one of the national shows,
bam,
I'd probably be nervous, and it probably wouldn't be my best show the way that I am able to perform a show on DAE. And sometimes even on DAE, I leave a show and I'm like, God, that was not very good. But I think Colt McCoy probably had that reaction after his game. He was a tough listen, and I try not to be too critical of the play-by-play guys because we're all in the same business. But play-by-play guys, as a broadcasting nerd that I'm in, I will watch a game because of a certain broadcaster. Like I love Fowler and Herbstreit. I think they are a fantastic duo. I think Herbstreit is the best color analyst in the game. I think he's just so good, and I tell my wife that too. I'm like, if you watch a game with him, he'll teach you so much and help you understand what's going on. So I will watch games because of an announcer, and I will not watch a game because of one as well. But, there's certain guys that I like that are just, they're really good.
I was hoping that Herbstreit, I like him and Fowler so much. I interviewed those two guys at the Rose Bowl, and they couldn't have been nicer. But one of those things, Nick, where it's almost overexposure. Thursday night football and NFL. Like, I like you in college.
I don't,
Fowler, man.
I don't have a problem with him doing NFL. In fact, I like that. What I
like
where I've
guy.
had the only time Herb Street really kind of annoyed me was where I felt like, and I know Ohio State fans were very upset with him about it.
Michigan.
No, not that. I thought some of the things. I thought ESPN for a minute, and I know that we have a majority SEC audience.
Yep.
So I don't want to. The SEC's king, despite the Big Ten winning the last 2 national championships. But there's that giddy guy. How did these fans get into Radio Row? The dude, the Mohawk guy at Philly.
Oh, yeah. Making the rounds.
But what was I saying? See what happens?
What
were we talking about?
You were talking about.
I totally lost my. We're talking about play-by-play guys.
Play-by-play.
Oh, Herb Street. Herb Street upset people.
Ohio State.
I thought he was. Well, he really upset the Ohio State fans, but Big Ten fans in general, because I thought ESPN was pushing this weird narrative before the college football playoff. Obviously, they're the host of it, and they also have the TV rights to the SEC. And I really thought the way that they didn't really, as a TV network, you're supposed to be very unbiased, and you're not really supposed to, I guess, do what they were doing. And I thought it was weird the way they were pitching all these SEC teams to get them into the playoff, to have their conference that they have the TV rights to into the playoff. I just thought it was weird. And then, then they got Kirk Herbstreit to play into all of that. And he was going out and basically campaigning for the SEC.
It almost seemed like it wasn't him.
Right. It's like
yes.
I think the network sent out a memo like, hey, we're going to do this. And there was a game, I want to say it was Sean McDonough, and Sean that does it with Greg McElroy, I believe is the combination. And there was a game they kept doing. And it was just like,
I see.
They were just they just kept pitching the SEC to me. And it felt weird coming from a network who's supposed to be unbiased.
Yeah, But
don't get me wrong, I think other networks do it too. Like Joel Klatt, if you ever see the clips of him on social media, I think he's very biased towards the Big Ten because they have the rights to the Big Ten. So,
I just thought of a story when you were talking about if you got the shot one day to go, if you're not, you got to be prepared and you got to be ready. You're right. You're right. Like maybe Colt McCoy wasn't ready. There was a host on WDAE years ago named Chris Thomas, and he got his shot to fill in for Jim Rome. And the producers are like, all right, you got to do this and that and this. And he used to have certain sound effects, animal noises, farts, all this stuff. And he was very popular. And he was getting his shot to fill in for Rome out of Tampa,
wow.
WD. And you know what? It really wasn't his total self. The producers were telling him, do this, do that, and follow this, that, and do this. And he finished it. And he said, you know what? If I ever get a shot again to get a big national fill-in gig, I got to hear at this point, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to do what I did in my local market. No. His name is Chris Thomas. No, it was a long time ago. No, Mark Ryan. No, Mark Ryan.
Chris Thomas. A lot of good stories about Chris Thomas.
But I mean, how about that? And it was to fill in on Rome. But I'm saying, like you're saying about Colt McCoy, maybe he just wasn't ready for that time. Chris wasn't ready. That's a different, you want to always be yourself.
He definitely was not ready for that moment. What time do you have to go to the?
I say about 12:30, about another 7 minutes or so. I'm going to get out.
All right, we'll do a couple more minutes. We got 200 people watching.
Beautiful.
We got Rays fan Gio. He says any Rays win total predictions. He's guessing 88 and a wild
my God.
card.
Gio, I got to get out there. I got to see the setup. I got to go to Port Charlotte. I got to get the field. I got to talk to Cash. I got to see how far away McClanahan is. I got to see what it's going to be like at Steinbrenner. I can't make a prediction on Radio Row for the Rays. Gio?
Speaking of the Rays, yes. Ryan Pepio.
Oh, the man.
He sent to the room, he sent Tom, sent T-Kraz a king cake, which is like some New Orleans thing.
It's big.
But Ryan Pepio, it's a big old
Mardi
thing.
Gras,
Ryan Pepio said Ryan Pepio is my new favorite player.
He's it, and he loves that. He loves coming on DA. He was so nice. He had was it girlfriend or wife? I don't know if they were.
That's his wife that he had at the
very nice.
The sneaker soiree. Yes.
Yeah. Oh man, God, he is great. He is a good dude. He's got good stuff too. I hope he takes his game man to the next level. So there's your Rays talk for today here on Radio Row. Getting ready for the big game. Getting closer.
Yeah,
Cannot wait.
Not a lot of Rays talk right now, but we will have more Rays talk as we get closer. Look, I am excited for baseball season. I'm excited for the outdoor. I think that'll be cool until like July and August. I'm excited for the rotation, but the bats. We have a lot of question marks in the lineup. Obviously, I would say my thing with baseball right now, which has me not very excited, it's the Dodgers. The Dodgers getting everybody in free agency is just made me not super excited for baseball because I feel like not a lot of teams have a chance, which isn't totally true because when Kurt Schilling was on the other day, he talked about how many different World Series championships we've had over the last 15 years, and he's right, but all of the teams that have won the World Series have come from a top 15 payroll. I think outside of the Houston Astros, I think they were 17th, but the Houston Astros also had garbage cans and bats.
Do you remember that? Do you remember Altuve? No, don't touch me there. The wire, even though he didn't say the wire. Take off your shirt. No. That was hysterical. And then the next spring and spring training games, people were bringing garbage cans, hitting the sound, boom, boom, boom. Oh, that was kind of funny.
The Astros got off really easy, I thought, because if you remember, I believe that they won it and then COVID happened, right?
I believe so.
And so they didn't have to go into stadiums that were packed of people ready to boo them.
You're right. No. You're right.
So I felt like they kind of got off a little bit easy with that whole thing. And then, they went on to win another World Series, which I think kind of solidifies, despite having that all go down, they probably were the best team. And again, I think they kind of solidified that and erased the whole cheating scandal when they did end up eventually winning again with Dusty Baker.
Cheaters. That's it. That's all I'll say.
No, I get it. All right, so coming up at 1:30 today, or 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 our time here in New Orleans, you guys are going to see T-Kraz and Mad Dog Russo. So make sure you guys are watching. Mad Dog Russo is going to be incredible. So we're going to tape that for the radio, but it'll be live on the stream.
So that's how you're going to do it then? Yeah, we're on YouTube or on Twitter?
We're on Twitter and YouTube.
Very good.
And so we'll tape it. Yep, we'll tape it for the air because he's on the air at the same time as us. So
right.
So we'll tape it. Great. And then but we'll do the interview live on YouTube, which will be really cool.
That's great, Nick. Way to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to let you get to the Fox.
All righty.
The Fox thing. Is that Maurice Jones-Drew? We should try to get him on the show. Is that MJD?
I could try to work on that. He's a good dude.
So I'm going to go try to get some guests for the afternoon show.
Sounds good,
You
man.
go to the Fox interview, and if you can get any footage of Tom Brady for me, that'd be fantastic.
I'll send it to you.
All right, brother. This was fun today.
You got it.
We had 200 people watching, and this was a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This was cool. Again, we'll be back at about an hour from now. We'll be back streaming live from Radio Row, and, of course, live on the radio at 3 o'clock this afternoon. All right. Let's